I mean, maybe you should just do a quick overview of what we talked about so that, there's no
Yes, that's a good
trouble.
idea. Well, we first received an application for a special exception. It's actually a modification to a special exception on Benedict Road. What's the address number?
71.
71 Benedict Road. And that was, it was the application, the motion to receive it was made by Veronica Florio and seconded by Eileen Arbutus. Its public hearing was scheduled for Wednesday, November 18th at 7 p.m. We then discussed the cease and desist order mailing, that the letter with the cease and desist order, the motion from the meeting on the 7th, that was sent by Tony Adili. And finally, and we did have some additional conversations on that. And then finally, we are now turning to Jocelyn Air to discuss the plans for the Morristown Plan of Development and Conservation and Development, which we're going to hold on the 9th, that we're planning for today. And I just made Jocelyn co-host so that she can.
And David,
present
you may want to say which board members are here and who's seated for who, and the date and what day we opened at, what time, I mean.
Yes, I called that's a good idea. I called the meeting to order at approximately like 7:05 with Veronica Florio, Doug Barnes, Bill Ailes, Jeff Fletsky, who was an alternate that was appointed for Barbara Bonchilati, and Eileen Arbutus. Present.
Are you ready? All right. So can you guys see this memo?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, terrific. So I think what I'm hoping we can talk about is, again, the purpose of the meeting, the proposed agenda for the meeting, how this kind of ties into your overall timeline for completing the plan and holding a public hearing for adoption, and then kind of outreach efforts that could be made between now and then to make sure that people know that this is their opportunity to provide feedback on the plan. So, so again, the idea is that the November 9th meeting will be devoted to getting feedback. The purpose, as you know, is to at the same time, this often gets separated into two separate meetings, but I think the goal here is to get feedback from all the other town boards and commissions and town organizations that are tasked with implementing things in the plan, to make sure they're comfortable with that, and then also to get feedback from residents on the tasks that are presented in the plan. And I think we also talked about as something fun that we could do at the meeting, to allow people to vote for photos that will be included in the town plan through the photo contest. And we can use Zoom polling for that. I played around with it a little more this week. So does anybody have questions about the purpose? Probably not. The agenda, I put kind of timeframes after each item because, I think most people only have maybe an hour and a half attention span for this stuff. And
an hour at tops they would give us.
Yeah. So this does end up, because we're trying to combine a meeting where we're really making sure we get feedback from the town boards and commissions who are tasked with things, but also allowing time for anybody else who wants to give feedback. It ends up being about an hour and a half of time allocated. you know, and I guess, so obviously the beginning of the agenda, welcoming everyone, reviewing what the purpose of the meeting is, reviewing what's going to be on the agenda, what they can expect. And then basically a brief summary presentation of the draft plan. So I guess one question I have is, who wants to do that? I think we should have or I'd be happy to create, if you want, it'd be nice to have some visuals, I think. So we could have a slideshow that, for example, summarizes the purpose of the meeting and the agenda, and can summarize the document itself. But I guess a question is who you would want to make that presentation, whether David, you want to do it, or do the welcome and then have somebody else do the overview?
I would say, I mean, so it's, basically put together like a PowerPoint on the, this, review the main points in each of the sections of the town plan of development.
Yeah, and I can create or draft the slides if you want to. And I can summarize stuff if you want to. I just didn't want to assume that you wanted me to. Yeah, I'm used to presenting this stuff, but I'm happy to have somebody else do it if they want to do it.
I'm not opposed to having one of us do that. I mean, to me, it's just a matter of having the time. Let me see if I can get something done this weekend. If I can't, then I'll look to you. Maybe. Does that give you enough time if I make a decision this weekend?
Oh yeah, and again, creating the slides are not. I can, I can draft slides, but however you want.
It's not hard to do.
Whichever way you want to do it, and you can think about it some more. So
I'd rather try to do it myself at least first, unless,
Sure.
Because I think I'm probably of anybody on the board, I'm probably, I'm at least used to the technology and use the technology a lot. And I do know what's in there, and I do have things I would want to make sure that get brought out.
Okay, great. Yeah.
And
so
we
I think
probably
the
want to review
idea
that.
is to not read the plan, obviously,
Right.
but to hopefully with the outreach that happens before that, people will have been able to get a chance to look at it. And it's really just kind of walking through it so people understand, kind of the flow of what's in it and kind of an overview. And then sort of the timeline for the next steps in the process with adopting the plan. And then
I can have some, and the point would have, I would, if I'm doing it, I'd probably want to have something available for the meeting on the 4th to review with everybody.
that's up to you.
Yeah, I just think we should all see it and know what we're saying. Be on the same page. It should be, if it's an 8-minute presentation, it shouldn't take a long time to go through. You'd have a slide for each section, a slide to summarize what it's all about to start, and have a slide at the end to go through what, basically the kickoff 3C on your list there.
Yep. Yeah. So, and then again, hopefully, or, it would be, you may receive some written comments. So I think, again, not to read written comments that you've already received, but just let people know who you've received comments from so they know if they're on the call that
And
you
maybe mention the high points.
And then we could do, again, some kind of overall polling questions that, again, sort of make it a little more interactive, with the attendees asking some general questions, like, for example, there's the 5 kind of main sections, just sort of asking whether they, whether the goals and the tasks in that section reflect the direction they'd like the town to go in over the next 10 years. And people can say, yes, no, I don't know. I mean, that would take, I'm guessing, 8 minutes to do. Or we could have different polling questions and just 3 of them. That's up to you guys. If you would want to kind of get some general sense of how attendees were feeling about the plan, we could do some polling at that point, or we could skip that. And then kind of moving on to asking each of the responsible lead groups, or at least the main ones, to say whether they're comfortable with the tasks that they're tasked with. And those are the, like you said, Dave, I think it'd be great to have a slide with those listed so they know.
Mhm.
And then allow for other feedback from anybody else. And I think that the challenge will be, is usually asking for some very specific comments, because it's obviously easier to incorporate specific feedback than it is to incorporate general feedback, like, I don't know. I don't like the word. I don't know. I'm sure you guys can think of general feedback that people might give. So just trying to encourage, if there's something they don't like, can they be specific about what they don't like about the task, or suggest specific changes that they would want to see. So that's kind of the feedback section. And then doing the photo contest voting. The commission could potentially, again, I don't know how many submissions that you will get. You need at least 6 of them to go in the places in the plan that exist currently. You could wean it down. The commission, assuming you got 150 photos, I guess you could whittle it down prior to the meeting, because it's true, there will not be time to vote on 150 submissions. But you could whittle it down to 10, for example, or 20 or something like that. We could show them on a screen, on a slide with numbers next to them. People could vote for them. And then again, in kind of closing the meeting, reminding folks that you'd be, again, this is a question for you, but that you could continue to get comments in writing through November 13th, and you'd still be on track potentially. And that the goal would be to have a final draft approved by November 23rd. Again, if you're trying to meet your time frame of
Right.
being able to hold a public hearing by the end of January.
What day is Thanksgiving this year?
Yeah, I think that is the Monday before Thanksgiving.
Okay. So it's like 26. Okay.
Yeah, Thanksgiving is the 26th though, so it's the Monday of that week. Any questions, comments, concerns about the agenda?
I think the agenda I'm fine with. The only comment I have is the 23rd because if we meet on the 18th, which we pretty much committed ourselves to, our next meeting would really realistically be the 4th of, no, it's not the 4th, the 1st of the 2nd of December.
Oh, I thought you had said you were planning to meet on the 23rd.
Oh, have we committed? No, we just set the 18th. I
had the 18th and the 23rd on a calendar, but I could have just
really?
misunderstood. Maybe I misunderstood from a past meeting.
I don't know. Well, let's. Have we written that down anyplace else, or is that just here?
You know, I feel like I remember us adding a meeting in November, and it could have been the 18th actually.
There should be
Maybe
in the
not
minutes.
adding, but we discussed adding it. Maybe that's what happened.
Yeah. Because I think we finally settled on the 13th, because we didn't want to do it. We could. I felt we couldn't. We felt we could. At least I felt we couldn't do it on the 4th. That we had to go to at least the 13th, but we didn't want to do it too close to Thanksgiving. But anyway, I don't want to waste our time on that. Go ahead, Jocelyn.
Yeah, well,
That's
again,
evergreen
the timeframes are up to you guys, but November 24th is the last possible day you could have a final plan if you want to have a public hearing around January 28th. Just because there's that 65-day statutory requirement
Right.
between when you submit it to the Board of Selectmen and when you can have a public hearing. So
We may need to push that into February is what I'm feeling on that.
Is there
But
a
hey,
reason why,
if
this is
we're-
Eileen, is there a reason why we can't have a meeting the Monday before Thanksgiving?
Actually, there's technically no real reason why we can. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to mute you, Jocelyn. I was trying to admit somebody and muted you, but there's no reason why we couldn't. But are we going to burn ourselves out with 4 meetings this coming month?
I don't know, I just want this over.
I mean, it's up to the board. I'm not going to say no. If that's what the board wants to do, I'll do it.
well, you're meeting on the 18th, right?
Yes,
That's what you just agreed on. So
that's correct.
you could also see kind of what you get in terms of feedback before the November 9th, at November 9th, and by November 13th, and evaluate that all on November 18th in terms of how much more time it's going to take to get a draft together that you're going to be comfortable with, and whether you could, if enough could be discussed on the 18th, it's possible that a meeting on the 23rd could be very quick. Or maybe you could decide you're going to need another long meeting to review it, and then you push it into December. But just a suggestion.
Not a problem. And it's not my decision. It's the board's decision. If the board votes for that, I'll be. That's kind of like if nominated, I'll run. If elected, I'll serve. Sort of thing.
I just want to make
Well, that's
mention
fine.
that Dave Jeremiah joined, so we can add that to the minutes, Tony.
At approximately 7:43.
Already did.
Okay, so this is Eileen Narbutis. I make a motion that we have a special meeting scheduled for that on the special meeting scheduled for November 18th, we review the responses to the plan as presented to the town on November 19th, on November 9th, and then determine at that time if we need to extend the time frame in order for us to finalize the draft. of the plan of conservation and development.
And we could decide to meet on the 23rd at that time too.
Right.
I'll second that
Do I have
motion,
a second? Thank you. Any
Veronica.
discussion? Thank you, Veronica. And thank you, Eileen, for making the motion. And Ms. Dave Wig, do I have any discussion? I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried.
So the basic polling questions up here, do you guys want to do those? Again, they're just kind of getting a general sense for under each basic category: water and natural resources, rural character, economic development, housing, infrastructure, kind of getting a sense of the attendees in terms of whether they think they're kind of going in the right direction.
Jocelyn, this is Eileen. Are they going to be yes, no questions?
They can be, yeah, they can be yes, no, I'm not sure.
Well, the only thing is that if it's a long-winded question, it's going to take time just to go through all the answers.
No, these
Oh,
are
I see.
basically like the poll pops up. And the question would say, for example, do the water and natural resources goals reflect the direction you'd like to see the town go in over the next 10 years? Yes, no, I don't know.
Yeah, there's no free form is what she's saying, David.
Right.
And it's just these
Okay.
5
Yeah,
questions.
that's what I
Yeah.
thought you were asking.
Yeah, it's just
No,
the
that's
5 questions.
There's no,
I mean, you could ask 3 or 5 different questions. I was just trying to think of something, again, to sort of engage people. I think people like polling as a participatory thing. But,
Keep them awake.
sorry?
Keep them awake. I also would say we want the chat, even though we'll get crap in it. I'd like the chat open for that too, because that's kind of unsolicited feedback. But I think that might, I don't know. That's
I don't know.
actually that's
This,
Yeah, I don't,
what's your
this is
opinion, Eileen?
Eileen. I think that it'd be better if people raise their hand and speak. That way they have to identify themselves.
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, I don't love chat either, again, just because it sort of distracts everyone.
Yes, it invites people
I
to
also
identify
have a-
themselves correctly.
my other thought in the matter is, and that's probably a question for Steve, unless somebody here has an idea about it. Can we just say if it's not if we know the name is fake, but I guess we have no way to know the name is fake, but
Right. I could put anybody, I could type that my name is Dave Wig in the chat, and they're not going to know unless I have my camera on that I'm not Dave Wig.
You should do
Shouldn't they-
that.
Shouldn't they have to give their address in Morris and say, this is so-and-so and I live at so-and-so in Morris?
Yeah, I
I
would
believe we
encourage,
can take it to that extent.
yeah, I would encourage people to provide feedback during the times that we've allocated for their feedback.
Okay. And
I
no
would-
chat.
Rule is you have to be a Morris resident to respond to participate.
Well, I guess my only caveat on that would be, for example,
What if they're,
White Memorial Director, or, you know,
Right.
or what if we have some small business owners that do not live in Morris, but their business is in Morris?
I'm also not sure it's
Well-
legal.
No,
I'm not sure I want, because the thing is, they just have to give their name and address.
Okay.
Or name and state where they live. They don't have to
Yeah.
give their exact address. But name and town. But we could take input from anybody. It's just that what we need to do is make sure that we have a name, not a, they can't anonymously speak.
correct.
Because I mean, I went through that years ago when we had somebody come in and wouldn't identify themselves, but they recorded our meeting. And what we learned through that is that they were entitled to record the meetings. They did not have to identify themselves or who they were doing the recording for. Well, they didn't even have to, well, actually, I think we end up, they would identify themselves, but they wouldn't identify who they're doing the recording for. And we found that that was perfectly within their right, as long as they're telling us they're recording something that they can record. And this is actually video recording. And, but, you know, it's like, but when you speak, that's why when you speak, you do have to identify yourself. That way I do know that that's a fact. The question is what we, and that's why I'm very concerned that somebody who's using a phony name, concerned about their talking. But I don't think we can really kick them off the meeting either.
All right, so I think we're on the
Okay.
same page with the agenda. And,
Yes.
Again, people have opportunity people have opportunity to provide feedback. I think it makes sense to call out the lead implementers, and then anyone else who would like to provide feedback can, and they just have to identify themselves. So then let's talk about outreach. A letter was sent out from Dave to all the town boards and commissions, inviting them to submit feedback, either in writing and or attending the November 9th meeting. Not sure whether Bantam Lake Protection, I actually know that White Memorial got it because I was talking with James on something else, so I sent it to him.
I know Economic
and-
Development did not get it, but Tom Wyke sent it to Ben and the rest of the committee this afternoon.
Oh, okay.
Now,
And
I
then-
already received an email from, I assume Ben had gotten it because I already got an email from him.
Right, but that was not representative of the Economic Development Commission. That was representative of a town
Resident.
resident.
Citizen.
Okay, I read that, yeah.
I wonder if Morris Land Trust got it.
Now, who's the person on it? It's not,
I think it's Ben somebody, right? No? What's his name?
Well, I can write myself a note to ask Tom whether they sent it to anyone on the Morris Land Trust.
Jocelyn, this is Ron Schaefer. You were about to say something about Bantam Lake. Did they get it?
Well, I know that James at White Memorial is also on the board of Bantam Lake, and he said he sent it to Connie, but it would be good for for Bantam Lake to get the official letter from us.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think.
God, it is in the wetlands anyway.
Okay.
yeah. Connie gets that there. Well, I would have gone to Michael Doyle, though, not to her,
Oh, okay.
because Michael Doyle's the chairman.
And then the other things are ideas of just, again, ways to try to get the word out. And I guess Eileen, did the flyer go out about the contest, or?
I actually forwarded the copy to Doug earlier today. I need him to accept the changes in Word for me because I don't have Word. And then it'll be posted by the end of the week.
I just sent it to you. I apologize. I wasn't
Oh.
looking at that email.
I got it. Thanks a lot, Doug.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you,
I'll
guys.
send that out to have it posted by the town clerk for tomorrow.
Okay, and I can't remember, I don't think I saw the latest draft. I can't remember if we ended up, it talks about November 9th on the flyer, right?
1 second. I'm just pulling it up right now.
Because I think there's an opportunity there again to kind of cross promote the photo contest and the November 9th meeting.
Sorry, my email likes to take every email and each response and then put them all together. So like I'm trying to like find the actual.
Okay.
I hate
Yeah,
that. I
I
just wish it kept
turned
it
that
in
off.
like order. Like I don't need to know like what the old messages from it was. All right, here we go. Freaking Yahoo.
Who are you calling a
Deadline
friggin'
to
Yahoo?
the email. The deadline is November 1st. And then to give us your feedback on the draft town plan and to vote on your favorite photo submission Monday, November 9th at 7.
Okay, terrific. Awesome. And so you're going to send that, and then what are they going to do with it? What's going to happen with it?
It will be emailed to Tony, and then depending upon the number of submissions, we will, as a committee, look at all of them, obviously, and then
Okay.
what do you mean?
No, sorry. I meant that once you send that flyer, you said you were going to send it to the town clerk. Is that
Yes,
what
to have her posted on the website and have Laurel from the selectman's office put it on Facebook.
Terrific. Awesome. Yeah. Great.
And then if anybody is on Facebook and friends with the town of Morris, if you wouldn't mind sharing that as well on your social media, just to get more people, that would be fantastic.
yeah.
Oh, you know, I'm going to run right out and do that. No.
Yeah, I know. She doesn't even, Veronica doesn't even have Facebook. I have to send her screenshots of interesting things that I find.
Yeah. Well, I'm with you,
Oh,
Veronica.
that makes cool. I don't have Facebook either.
Social media, I don't see where it's done us a whole ton of favors.
Yeah.
I want anti-social media.
All right. So, and then I think, again, if there's a way to do like the sandwich board sign in front of town hall or at the transfer station, I think those things are helpful. I do wonder whether we could get like the beach and rec folks to put the photo contest and or some information about November 9th in a newsletter.
I mean, I can see if Lisa would do it for us. She used to be on the
Yeah,
board.
yeah. She was one of us for
That would be
number of
great.
years.
I mean, if she, I think it would be great to have her. I mean, I know I get that newsletter even though I don't do Facebook. So
Yeah, I get that email as well.
yeah, I think that would be great if she would do it.
How does or who does the sandwich board, in the town or at the transfer station?
Well, I
don't
can,
know.
or if you guys want, if somebody else wants to, that's great too. But I think we'd ask Tom about how
I'll be in the town hall tomorrow. I can ask them how we can get the community event things updated out there and find out, who does it, or if I just grab the letters and do it myself.
Awesome. Thank you.
Also, I mean, while we're at this, maybe that was coming up next, but the on the website, it still has, a link to the old survey that's not even functioning now.
Yeah,
Can-
I was gonna,
Is it just me, or is anybody else having a problem finding stuff on the new website? I'm very confused. The order of the minutes, even when you sort by planning and zoning, it starts at 2018. The stuff is all mixed up towards the bottom, towards 2020. Or is it just me?
I don't know. I found it all right when I looked for stuff today. Let me go look at it.
Yeah, I can't find a copy of the last town plan up there or anything.
The problem is that on the website there is two sections. It says boards and commissions. Another one is departments and offices.
Yeah.
And if you go to the one, I think that says board and commissions, planning and zoning, then if you go there, they'll show all the recent agendas. But if you filter from the front of the webpage, that's when it'll be hard to find.
Even when I found that, I believe they weren't in very good order.
I have them in order.
For the most part,
Maybe
what
it was-
I have here
But
is pretty much in order. The only weird thing is that the bottom of the list are the subdivision regulations. And Oh, that's 2010. Never mind. That's not 2020. No. What browser do you use, Veronica?
Hang on, so I'm at boards and commissions and Google zoning.
Using Chrome?
Yep. So I
Okay,
scroll
because
down
I'm
through.
using I'm using
Oh, now-
Firefox, and
Oh, you
Yeah,
know
it's
what?
good for
It's
me.
all it must have updated because it was not like this when I was here this afternoon. Okay, never mind.
Well,
Thank you.
in any case, who's responsible for taking down the survey that's still on the front of the banner at the top of the website? And
Right.
we
I
put-
asked to have that down when it expired, but I was vetoed.
Oh, well, I'll write to, is it Laurel? Is that her name?
The town clerk, yeah, or the town clerk is Lori.
then that's
The executive
system.
assistant is Laurel.
Yeah, I'll ask Laurel. She said she can do things to the website. At the same time, I can sort of write some text for, hopefully they could put something under news and announcements. And I can submit to the community events calendar too, as well as the town meeting calendar.
Cool.
And are there other ideas that you guys have in terms of spreading the word? Because I think we should do as many things as possible. Better
There's
to hear about it too many times than not at all.
I think there's also a senior center newsletter potentially. So
Oh,
I can
yeah.
I can ask Kristen about that.
Well, yeah, all the seniors are gonna know how to log into Zoom.
Doesn't matter. It's but it's not just them who'll get the email. It's other people too.
But you'd be surprised. I mean, a lot of people are Zooming with their grandkids.
True. I figured out how to use it, right?
If you can use it, anyone can use it, Ron. You know what I mean, Ronnie?
I couldn't believe it, but I figured out how to set up the Blink camera system on the outside of my house and put it on my phone. I can't believe it. I almost fell over.
I believe it.
I can't. I'm still pinching myself.
So I think that's all I had, unless you guys want to talk more about any of that.
Well, I had a thought, just to expedite the meeting on the 9th, is to have all these town boards and commissions email their thoughts beforehand, so that we've cut a lot of time in half, cut the time down.
Well, that was sort of requested in the letter that Dave sent.
Yeah.
Good idea, Ron.
But
I mean, just, try to get, email them again. Hey, did you get it? Hey, what's up? Hey, we'd like your feedback. I don't know.
yeah, no, I think
Well,
that
the other
would be,
side
I
is
think that
that-
would be great if somebody has time to email those, especially those main lead ones on this list, and say, we'd love comments in writing, and then if you could just summarize your comments.
Yeah.
Because I think it would be good for people to hear kind of what generally the comments are, but I agree with you that you don't want to spend, 30 minutes hearing from the Board of Finance what their comments are.
The other side of the coin, though, is as a public hearing, if you've got somebody comes up with a good idea that nobody else had really thought of, you're going to get feedback immediately on that as other people at the meeting talk to you. And it's not the same if it's come in an email beforehand. So we could always post it with the agenda whatever comments we've gotten via email with the agenda before the meeting. And I guess I already have the one from Ben, and anything else I get, I will print the PDF and go on together in a big PDF for posting.
Well, I mean, when it's their time to do the feedback, they could just sort of reference that they sent an email and give a quick summary on what they said instead of it just being.
True.
Yeah.
a conf-
And it might, I think that's a good suggestion. It might also avoid like, if they just found typos or if they, if there's other kind of general comments, you can still receive those in writing and not have to like go through it all at the meeting.
The other thing I was going to ask is when you say the questions to the public, the yes and no questions, there's some sort of app where they can, or a Zoom thing where they just hit yes or no, or like
Yeah, it's Zoom polling.
Oh, okay. So that'll be on top of this.
Exactly. Yeah. Just like when I share my screen or if we do slides, you can see
Right.
the slides. Basically, the poll pops up, and we can, if you want, we can try one of those like at the next meeting so you can see what it's like. But if you haven't done it before,
You can't phone a friend.
What was the other thought? So we're going to eliminate the chat on this. Did we decide that? No chat. And
Yeah,
then,
we did.
So people, what about, you'll be able to raise your hand and all that though, too?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's key to it. Just like we did with we've kind of had a dry run for how this can work when we had those meetings, with
Yeah.
regarding South Farms, when we had to,
It worked
because
well.
there was a lot to take in for those. And I
So
hope we get more
somebody-
comments than we got there, to be honest with you, because we could use getting a lot. Because I doubt everybody's gonna sit there and say, "Oh, it's perfect," but
So I think the big thing is just really getting the PowerPoint or whatever and the presentation tight.
mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, my thought would be to make the PowerPoint kind of walk us through all the steps of the meeting. And we got to figure out where the polling. So the concept on the polling questions, would that just go out? We would say at this point in time, we'll send out this polling question.
it just
Or-
pops up on their screen. And if you're hosting, like, we might have to figure that out. I might have to, because you have to set up the polling questions in advance of the meeting, basically, and then you pull them up. So we'll have to figure out how. Well, I could give the questions to somebody. I'll have to work with whoever's hosting the meeting so that I can set that
That's
up
Tony.
before
Well,
the meeting.
If it's a matter of getting it set up in the meeting, that would be Tony. If it's a matter of
Yeah,
delivering it,
I
it
can
could
do
be
that. You can send me
anybody
the
who's a
questions and
co-host.
I'll do it. Yeah.
Okay. Have you
It-
done that before,
It doesn't
Tony?
matter.
I have not, but
Sure.
what's nice about Zoom is there's a lot of tutorials available and it'll show me how to do it if I can't figure it
Yeah.
out.
Exactly.
But the thing
Sorry,
is that,
sorry, Dave, for interrupting.
oh, no, that was important. I have no issue.
I like.
I think the key point is knowing, once we know how to trigger them, having somebody responsible who's a co-host to trigger those, because if I'm going to kind of MC the meeting, I would probably not want to have to worry about focusing on that and have somebody who's a co-host do that stuff. And, just as Tony's been letting people into the meeting tonight too.
And me.
As I tried to let somebody in, I muted Jocelyn.
Yeah, it would probably be good to do a very quick dry run of, all of that prior.
I agree. After the summary, we go into the question, just go back to, you do the summary of the 6 points, the big points, right? The water and moral character, economic, right? And then you go, okay, now we'll have questions for water and natural resources, like, do you agree, blah, blah, blah. Right? Is that the idea? Make it simple. It's instead of people jumping
Yeah, it makes
around to
sense.
each category, you just stick, let's do this one, questions for each category and be done,
Well, as we go through it, because we'll have a slide for each section when we're on that section, send out a polling question relative to that section for each slide.
Well,
Makes sense.
that's after you've done the whole summary though.
Well, I figured that you want to do a question at a time.
No, do the summary and then go back to questions and, you say we're gonna now we'll do questions starting with water and natural resources, I don't think you should break it up with questions because you'll never get to the end. Just do the summary of everything, the 5-minute summary or whatever, 10-minute summary.
Well, I guess
And then the questions should just,
how the results come back to us, Jocelyn?
They're immediate. You
Does everybody see them or just?
you give people a minute to answer, and then you close the poll, and then you can show the results then, or you can wait and show them later.
Okay, so it does kind of fit what Ron was saying. Okay. So you do basically pause the meeting to do the poll.
Yeah, what you say is, we're going to take a moment now to answer a poll question, which you'll see on your screen, and then somebody will read the poll question, and then you leave it open for like a minute, 45 seconds, and then you say, okay, we're going to close the poll now, and then you close the poll, and then you'll see typically, depending upon the poll feature that you're using, it'll say this percentage says yes, this percentage says no, and this percentage says does not know.
Okay.
Yeah, but we can try a dry run so you can kind of see how it's going to work.
Yeah, it's not very difficult.
it's Jocelyn has the agenda is what I'm talking about is like pretty much it's like how Jocelyn has it laid out.
Right.
So my recommendation is, Tony and Jocelyn, do you want to work on adding a poll question or two to our meeting on the 4th of November? To give that a shot?
Sure. I'm all for it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we're going to have an agenda item to do a dry run of what Ron was suggesting, and we can call that agenda item poll questions. And a separate agenda item under the town plan of development.
Sure. Sounds good.
So
So
are
if-
we?
If there's nothing else, then I think we're good.
Yeah, that was what I was going to ask.
Eileen, your email, there's nothing attached on that final draft.
All right. Thank you. I'll send
Thank
it
you for
again.
catching that this morning, Ron.
I wanted to hear it.
I understand.
I'm an audio guy, so yeah, that's curious what they were going to sound like. Yeah, they're kind of what's the word?
You know that there's music coming to them, but you can't really judge
Yeah, it's
how loud or.
Well, it's a cell phone recording,
you know
Yeah.
the relative volume is not. You need a dB meter, basically. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
I understand.
So I
don't argue.
resent that, Ron. Let me know if you see that.
But if nothing else, the way I see that, that's a reference point for Ben to know where the sound is going to.
I got it.
And, that's why when I finally had a bunch of them, I copied him on it when I sent it to the town clerk for posting, and that was what prompted Tom's email about it. And I understand his concern. I just was concerned that he was objecting to something more than just that.
So
And he wasn't very clear to me in the first
one
when
more
he
question
suggested
about the the November 9th meeting is the photo contest thing, which is awesome. That happens. We're going to do that towards the beginning or the end. You had a question about that, Jocelyn.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I have it at the end to kind of like,
Yeah,
it could be at the beginning, it could in theory be in the middle. I just kind of, seems like a fun thing and it'd be kind of a nice way to close it and maybe get people to stick around.
exactly.
But
We could keep saying, stay
Fannies
tuned
in the
for our
seat.
photo contest coming up.
if you
Coming up
want to
next.
vote, stay on.
Yeah.
Put
Just
that-
like they do on TV, they suck you in to watch through the next commercial, yeah.
Yeah. Be like coming up in the next half an hour.
Well, if it's an hour show, it's the next hour. For us, it's the next hour and a half.
Yeah, no. How soon does our Zoom recorded meetings end up on YouTube?
I put them literally the next day.
Oh, okay. So I had somebody ask me that.
I don't have to put them the next day, but I put them the next day.
When do you have to have them out there by?
It's probably the same thing like with, minutes probably within a week, I'm assuming.
I don't think there's, I mean, if they're on the town website, I don't think they have to be on YouTube.
Yeah, but that's the only way to transfer them. See, because what happens is that Zoom only gives you a certain amount of space. Just like if you're paying whatever the cheaper one,
Oh,
they have to delete them. That's why they go on YouTube. But seeing that they're published on YouTube, anyone can watch them because there's a, Morris Planning and Zoning page on YouTube.
There is?
but if you look at the Morris website, there's a link to listen to the meeting or watch the meeting.
Yeah, but the link is produced by me and I send it to the selectmen and the assistant, and then they post it. That's how
Thank
it
you,
goes.
Tony.
So are we all set with Jocelyn so she can go back and have like some family time?
Put my kids to bed.
Yeah.
I think we are. Anything else from anybody?
No, let the poor lady go.
All right, thank you.
Bye, Jocelyn. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Jocelyn.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Okay, next on the agenda is 4A. And I think that is Ron Schaefer time, if I remember. It's not Miller time, let's put it that way. Are you still a potential candidate for the board, Ron?
Yes, I am.
Would you like to speak a little about yourself first, please?
Yeah, my name's Ron Schaefer. Live in Morris, Connecticut for 2 years now. Moved from Dutchess County, New York, with my wife and 5.5-year-old daughter who attends JMS school. I'm an audio engineer, a lot of music production and mixing, but also for audio post production for videos like on A&E or Bravo channel and MTV and stuff like that. Anyway, so I work at home studio. And I'm really interested in, probably living here for maybe, in retirement and all that. So that's a long ways off. So I want to be involved in the town and make sure it's going to be healthy and vibrant. So just like to know what's going on in the town. And I have ideas, and so I'm interested in being involved. And that's it, really. Just like to know what's going on and try to help out, make sure the town is healthy, I guess.
That's
Well,
cool. That's good.
This is Veronica, and I would like to make a motion to nominate Ron Schaefer to join the Morris Planning and Zoning Commission we have an alternate position only, right, David?
Yes, that's the only thing left.
Alternate member.
Great.
Second that.
Just my one discussion point for the motion is that FYI, Ron, you'd be full voting member tonight, just like Jeff is, even though you're just an alternate because we don't always have 100% attendance. I don't think we've had more than 8 or 9 people to a meeting. This is tonight we got I think, is it 8 of us tonight? Yeah, it's 8 of us tonight, which is probably about the most we've had. And I mean, because we didn't even have it for a while. We only had like 7 members until Bill hopped on, and then Doug joined us, and then
It must be
Jeff
me.
and you.
I'm a good finder, you know.
Your magnet.
thank you.
Magnet.
How many voting
Well, we
members,
have what's that?
how many voting members would there be in a?
There are 9 regular members on the board and 3 alternates.
Yeah, 9, okay.
Great. What do I need to,
So,
do I go to town and get sworn in?
David has to call the question.
well, not yet.
Oh.
You have a question?
Well, I made a motion. Somebody seconded it, no?
Do we have a second? I thought we had a second.
Yeah, Doug,
Doug
but we
seconded it.
didn't
Second.
have to call the question.
Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried.
Yay.
Congratulations, Dan. And yes,
Welcome,
you're right.
Ron.
You need to go down and talk to Laura Heller and get sworn in.
Welcome aboard.
Yay.
It's
Welcome,
really
yeah.
fast and
Thank you.
easy.
Again, there's no balloons or confetti. It's just very quick.
It's also a lot easier to resign.
I wish people who should resign, who need to resign because they're never going to show up, were that good at resigning. It seems a lot harder to resign
Certified letter them.
than it should be.
Can we send letters to them or?
I'll try to call Barbara. I've been meaning to do that. I will try to do that.
I'd love
'cause
to
I do
have,
have a number.
I don't think she's going to. Last time I saw her, she had so much going on caring for relatives that are even older than she is. And, so.
But David, I wonder if she ever even got sworn in.
I don't know.
Either she never got sworn in. Technically, she's not a member. Technically, right?
I don't know.
Yes, I know, but she was elected, so we can't unseat her. That the man who was on the board for 6 years after being elected, and even moving out of town, I don't believe he ever got sworn in either.
Wow.
Because you do have to be you have to be able to vote in Morris to be a member of any commission.
Right.
Right. But there's no impeachment laws in Connecticut.
Nope.
So if you're elected, you're in.
So
It's a-
does the town clerk need to be alerted or I just,
No, just go. Don't worry.
I think they want you to call because
oh, yeah,
pretty much, I would call to say I'm coming down to get sworn in.
yeah, no, I thought from you guys, but I'm on the Economic
Yeah.
Development Commission as well.
All right.
Eileen has been amazing as Doug and Jeff, and hopefully now you have joined the board. I don't think we weren't doing, I don't know if she was doing this back when Bill joined, but she's been emailing the town clerk and copying me saying that you were going to, alerting them that you're going to be contacting them to get sworn in.
in the process of sending that right now.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool. So 4B, how are we going to go forward with the meeting?
Oh, I also wanted to say in this, Dave, with the
Yes.
4B, I mean, for me, doing Zoom meetings is great. I know you guys were talking about in the last meeting, I listened to the Zoom meeting. I guess when things open up and you go back to the town hall, they're going to try to do hybrids. Does that mean some people can go to the town and some people can do Zoom or?
Yes, that would be the case.
I mean, for my part, having a kid and everything here at this time, it's good for me. I'd rather stay here and do Zoom. 'Cause I can-
And I'd like to keep the Zoom as an option too.
Yeah. It's
Because
very,
my,
it
my
makes,
job, at least historically, I've traveled a lot.
yeah.
I've missed a lot of meetings for that reason.
I would say realistically with the numbers going up, that we wouldn't probably want to start meeting in person until spring maybe and wait through the flu season and the whole nine.
I hope everybody's gotten their flu shots.
Yep, got
I
mine.
just, let's just keep this on the agenda, Tony,
Sure.
so we don't have to spend anything on it. So if there's any news to report, we report it. And if
Yeah.
not,
I mean, one thing I also feel like the Zoom meetings have been beneficial for us because before we weren't really having meetings and now we have more members and stuff, but it definitely helps, I feel like, because
Mhm.
you know, some of us, I don't travel, but Dave travels, Eileen was traveling, so it's definitely a lot better for everyone, basically. And like
and I
Ron,
still
like
like
Ron
the
said, we can
idea-
always, you know, if you don't feel comfortable going, you know, you join in the hybrid meeting, you know, situation.
And
Yeah.
that way for people who would rather do it in person or, you know, because if I can, I want to do it in person, but I want the option to be able to call in
Oh,
when
yeah.
I'm not around.
Yeah, hybrid, like you were saying, hybrid meetings.
And I believe that's going to be an option soon, but it's not, I doubt it's there yet, but you know, it's something that might be realistic in 3 to 6 months is my impression.
And what's also good with the Zoom is that I can connect like with the Outlook on the computer at the office. So eventually, not for this year, but for next year, I want to make it so that basically all the meetings will just automatically be created
Mhm.
for the whole year. And then I don't have to do it every time there's a meeting.
That's good. One of the advantages of having a young techno-savvy zoning enforcement officer.
Oh yeah, 21st century, baby.
Did you find out if you passed yet, Tony?
No, they haven't graded it yet. I don't know why it takes so long, but waiting on it. I check my email every day.
Well, we're hoping so, Tony. We're sure you did great.
Yeah, no, well, what's cool is I think it's funny because I didn't think it'd take so long to grade a test that's multiple choice and true and false, you know?
Was it Scantron where you put it through the machine?
No, it's not a Scantron. That'd be even
That's
worse.
No, you
old.
guys are laughing, but as somebody who has certificates for my profession, back in the old days, we used to have to do the Scantron ones, and now it's all done on the computer. So you laugh, but it's still out there, I promise.
I hear the
Oh, no,
I hear the
I
term
know.
Scantron, I think 70s. I'm sorry. It just brings me back to the old have to use the number 2 pencil. You know?
Hey, what do you think you're going to be doing on the 3rd when you vote? You're filling in a little bubble and putting it into a Scantron tabulator.
Yeah.
Faxing, anybody remember that? Faxing was
What's
we thought we were,
I got a fax today. Today I got a fax.
really?
Oh, yeah.
From Comcast, actually.
Wow.
And ostensibly a technology company, but they felt that was how they needed to send me the letter.
Wow.
That's hysterical.
Was their response to a preservation order for records on an IP address, and they sent me a fax. They actually emailed me to get my fax number.
Wow.
The
That's
town hall still uses fax. I use fax too sometimes, you know?
No.
I know it's so easy with email now. Why do you need to fax anything? You know?
Scan and shoot. Yeah. Save it.
I mean, the way that I get faxes is they actually my virtual PBX actually intercepts them and then emails the document to them. So it's virtually identical. to
Exactly, yep.
Email. I mean, I don't have a fax machine, God forbid.
Oh my God.
But there you go.
Wow. That's pretty funny, Doug.
All right, what's next?
Okay. We have one more item on the list, and that is Steve Burns' bill.
Dave, we should have done the HVAC, the other bill too for the map. It's on there.
Yeah, but we can't change the
Oh.
agenda because it's a special
Oh
meeting.
no, I was gonna say, oh, okay, so yeah, I guess I should have put it, I forgot, I was supposed to put it as under the town plan, but I did not, so.
Oh, that's right. I did say that. It's true.
It's all right, we'll do it, next week.
Knows we're good for it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We got more than enough money in the budget for that.
David, can I ask you a question about the map? Or no?
Yes. No,
Okay,
you can
so
ask me. That's
R40,
still the conservation development stuff, so.
R40,
go on.
how many acres?
Well, that's a zoning question. That's their, R40 stands basically for residential for 40,000 square feet.
Right, how many acres is that? I need to have that in my
That's
mind.
approximately, it's just short of an acre.
Yeah, Dave, actually, I think it's, 1 acre is actually, I think, 43,000 square feet. So it's just a
Yeah.
little more than an acre.
And so what's
It's a little less.
A little
R6?
less than an acre, R40.
Yeah, it's less than, an acre.
Exactly.
So what's R60?
A little less than an acre and a half.
And then R80 is 2 acres.
Correct.
And what's R60?
4.
4, okay.
It's
Thank you.
not exactly, it's,
It's
you know, by
roughly,
the time you get into R160, you're 12,000 short of 4
So-
acres. It's 3.75 acres.
light industrial 2 acres? Yes?
I would have to look at that's a good question. I would have to look at
Okay, I was just curious. You don't have to look at it now. We can look at another time. I just thought off the top of your head, you would know.
I would think I just never looked it up. So I don't think we have a number for a CB or a CA zone or for Lake Residential. And some of Lake Residential Lake Residential is 40,000 square feet.
Yeah, Dave, there's
That one.
there's limits. It just doesn't say like, CB zone is this. It tells you how much you're supposed to have for it to be conforming.
Yeah, and I believe that they're all, I think acre is the case for everything.
Oh, there's a legend on the old map that Tony gave me, but it's so tiny. I'm gonna have to blow it up.
Yeah, but Dave, it tells you like R40 is a minimum of 40,000, I think it says in the regulations.
Right.
But yeah, just so everyone knows.
Okay. I see it now, but it's so tiny.
No, I can,
Thank you.
no problem. But back to the agenda.
Everyone see the
and-
bill? Did everyone see the bill?
No, how much? No, I didn't see it.
Little over
Eileen, do you have
2,000.
it on your screen by any chance?
Please hold.
Because I don't have it up. It's only on my phone. I don't want to read off my phone because I don't know if it's right.
It is not attached to the agenda that was emailed out, but I have the town website up. Just give me
Yes.
1 moment.
Yeah.
I can show it. I'll have it up and it's quicker than you will.
Thanks, Dave. It's a little bit of just so everyone knows, the email for Ron being added to the town as an alternate has been emailed out.
Thank you, Eileen.
Thank you.
I think, Eileen, I sent
Everybody see it?
Ron the agenda too, so it's on there anyway, so everyone knows.
Right, no, I mean the email to the town clerk saying that Ron will be
okay.
stopping down.
Got it.
Oh,
My phone is blowing the hell up right now. I don't know if anybody else saw the news. I'm not going to announce it on this meeting, but if anybody's interested, you may want to go to their Republican American website.
Yep, it's all over the pup. It's all over.
Oh my God, what?
Yep.
But again, I don't think it's appropriate for us to say on this recorded Zoom.
No.
But if, I'm sorry, but my phone's blowing up from that. I apologize.
Mm.
Oh God.
So this is Eileen. I make a motion that we pay the statement, the invoice to Steve Burns in the amount of $2,030 for services rendered from September 1st through September 30th, 2020.
Thank you, Eileen. This is Dave Weig. Do I have a second to that motion?
Bill Ailes will second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carried.
Who seconded it? I didn't hear it for some reason.
Bill,
I did.
Bill A.
Bill.
Yeah, the day you bit me, gonna be the last day you do it.
Jeremiah, I'm just gonna mute you, honey, okay?
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
Anyway, yeah, I agree. I don't think we should mention it here.
Definitely not.
Well, he used to be on the board.
Right.
What was I going to do? Yeah, I was looking for.
So we have, so
It's
that's been
almost
approved
there.
now, so that's good. And we're still seeing your screen, Dave, just so you know.
Yeah, I know, because I was going to. Here we go.
Just letting you know, my dear.
I want to make a Jeffrey Tubin mistake.
Yeah, I didn't know my Zoom camera was on.
Well, I mean, last time we got all of his, we got a tour through his entire inbox.
Oh, for Dave, I was talking about like the politician who was caught.
Oh, yeah, no. But it was almost as good going through Dave's email last time.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
He had some racy stuff in there.
You must have been the only one who saw it.
They,
I
Yeah,
wasn't
that's it.
looking. You must read really fast because on my screen I can't read any of that because I like to have your faces pulled out so I can see everybody. So,
I kind of balance between the two. Actually, sometimes I don't like people showing things because I want to see other things. But I think everything is 40,000 square feet, except for 60, 80, and. But here's the light industrial. I think I went too far. Yep, 80,000 square feet, 2 acres.
Well, just under, really, right?
What's that?
Just under 2
under, yeah.
acres.
That is correct. No, you're right. But generally, I believe this is pretty much the same as anybody else does, any other town does, that, they'll do, it's in, 40,000, 80,000, 160. So anybody that says they have 5 acre zoning or 4 acre zoning, it's really a little bit short of that. Much like
Yeah,
a
round numbers.
2x4 is 1.5 by 3.5. But anyway, I'll stop the share, but I just wanted to. Cool. Well, you can all read the agenda.
are you going to make a motion, Veronica?
Oh, I would love to make a motion to adjourn the special meeting of the Morris Planning and Zoning Commission on October 21st, 2020.
This is Eileen Arbutus. I make a second to the motion to get out of here.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I once voted against the motion during this proceeding. I'm not voting here.
You're such a badass, Dave.
Abstention?
There's your team.
And I once said, and Bob once told Bob McIntosh once told a Chris Pulowski story, and he said how when after Bob had abstained once, that what you shouldn't be abstaining, you're throwing your vote away when you abstain. So you knew Chris Pulowski, right, Jeff?
Yeah, very well.
Yeah, he was a member of the board for a number of years.
Sure.
I'm betting we can stop recording too.
Yes, but I don't mind that being on the record. But yeah, I think that's a good idea.